When Arsenal signed 19-year-old Abou Diaby in 2006, it was believed they had found the next Patrick Vieira and expectations were high. However, 13 years later, he retired with the unwanted title of football's most injured player, and then in this video, we'll be looking at the unfortunate career of Abou Diaby. Diaby made the name for himself a few months earlier when he played a crucial role in France's under-19 Euros win, defeating England in the final. At club level, he had only made 14 appearances for a said senior team, and these were usually off-the-bench cameos. Despite not having too much experience in the professional game, Arsenal saw a lot of potential in Diaby and paid £2 million for his services. With their club captain Patrick Vieira leaving the club 6 months earlier, the fans hoped Diaby would be able to fill his boots in the long term, with some describing him as a Patrick Vieira clone. This was a lot of pressure, something Diaby admitted himself. But the move was a dream come true and he was eager to get to playing. Donning the iconic number 2, which had been left vacant since Arsenal legend Lee Dixon's retirement 4 years earlier, Diaby's start to his Arsenal career was full of promise. The box-to-box midfielder quickly established himself as a regular starter in the Premier League, and in February 2006 he made his Champions League debut against Real Madrid. But on May 1st, 2006, Diaby suffered an injury that would be the catalyst to him missing 314 games across his career and spending 1,747 days injured. Arsenal 3-0 up against already relegated Sunderland and everything was going well, but in the 90th minute when the match was done and dusted, Sunderland's Dan Smith lunged in with a reckless tackle that shattered Diaby's right ankle. It was a horror tackle, and yet Dan Smith was only shown a yellow card for it. This infuriated Arsene Wenger, who said if you do that to a guy in the street you go to jail, and also said there was only one intention in this tackle, to hurt the player, and that it was illegal advice to see how far he can go. Diaby ended up missing the Champions League final in Paris, which is where he was born and raised, as well as the 2006 under-21 Euros, having to have 3 different surgeries and 8 months work of rehab. Diaby returned from this injury in time for the second half of the 2006-07 season, making his official return as a late substitute in a 6-3 win versus Liverpool in the League Cup. A month later, he assisted Arsenal's one and only goal in the League Cup final loss against Chelsea and played all the remaining Premier League games after this. Despite the injury setback, Diaby was playing very well, even with him losing a lot of flexibility in his ankle and not being as quick as before. The next season, however, is when it became clear the shattering of his right ankle had made him injury prone. He was out multiple times that season, returning and pressing for a few games at a time before heading back to the sidelines for injury once again. The worst of the injuries that season came against Liverpool in the Champions League quarter-final, a match where he scored but shortly after sustained a thigh injury that ruled him out for the rest of the campaign. He wouldn't return until a few months into the 2008-09 season, meaning he missed out on the opportunity to represent France at Euro 2008. This was a sad sight to see. When he did play, Diaby was an excellent passer and dribbler and was great both defensively and offensively. Patrick Vieira himself even once said about his potential, "He is better than me" in regards to Diaby. The remainder of the 2008-09 season and then the following season proved to be quite fortunate for Diaby in terms of injuries, only picking up 2 that ruled him out for a combined 35 days. The 2009-10 campaign is actually the best of his career in terms of appearances, featuring 40 times for Arsenal across all competitions. It was hoped this good luck would keep up and Diaby could continue being an integral part to Arsenal's squad, but in the seasons afterwards, Diaby would go through a trying time. In fact, he only made 42 appearances for the Gunners in the 5 seasons that followed, suffering some major injuries alongside plenty of smaller ones during this time. The biggest of them all struck in March 2013 when Diaby suffered an ACL injury in training, ruling him out for 391 days and missing 98 games for Arsenal in the process. He recovered just in time for the last Premier League game of the 2013-14 season, coming on as a late substitute against Norwich, and little did he know this would prove to be his final ever Premier League game. At the start of the next season, he picked up another long-term injury, leaving him on the sidelines for 279 days and missing 60 games. Arsenal finally gave up on Diaby after this, releasing him on the 1st of July 2015 after a tarnished 9.5 years at the club. Arriving at the club with aspirations of wanting to become one of the best in the world, the brutal amount of injuries Diaby had to endure during his time at Arsenal stopped him from reaching his true potential. Diaby joined Marseille after his time in North London came to an end, but in his 2 seasons there, he featured just 6 times for the club, spending 381 days out injured, which stopped Marseille from handing him a new contract. This left the former French international as a free agent, but with Diaby being a level of injury prone that had never been seen before, no clubs wanted to risk signing him. And so after spending 19 months without a club, Diaby made the decision to officially retire from football at the age of 32, only making 214 appearances in his senior career. When fully fit, Diaby was a special player, and we can only wonder just how good he could have been if injuries hadn't killed his career.